Okay, so first let's find some exhaust for this ship. Let's see if we have something here. This looks nice. And let's see how that looks on the ship. That could look nice, yes. Let me flip it on the Z 180 degrees. No, not on the Z. I don't understand how to rotate this, unfortunately. Let's see. Maybe here in the emission, we can flip it. Shape here. Let's see. Angle. Nope. Yes, here we can rotate it. I don't understand how to rotate this. Wait. Yeah, I don't know how because it doesn't work with this, and it doesn't work with the scale. I mean, with the transform. So I don't understand how do we rotate this. Yeah, okay, we'll have to find some other effect here because that doesn't work. Let's see, smoke, ship effects, ship exhaust. Let's see. For that one, let's try to use this. We'll use this one. So let's make an empty object. We call it like the enemy, and then at the end we'll say exhaust. We just need a sprite renderer and animator. We have to split this image with the exhaust. We cannot do it automatically. We want to do almost always you want to split it by cell size. Let's try. Oh no, that's not times 64 maybe. So it seems that is 2 times on the x. So let's take this and multiply by 2, and 3 times on the y. So let's say multiply by 3. Yeah, that works. But I don't know. It looks a bit weird. Let's try to do this another way, okay? Let's take a calculator and divide. So for the y value first, it is there are three rectangles here. So we take the value on the y, which is 600, and divide it by 3. That's 200. So here on the y, let's put 200. And now let's see for the x. For the x, we take the size of the x, which is 1024, and we divide it by how many rectangles are in here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Divide by 8. 1, 1 to 8. Okay, so that's good. That's good. We can split it. Now let's create an animator controller for the exhaust. Just now we'll add that controller to the animator. We can now add one sprite, the first sprite of the animation to our sprite renderer. We'll put it on a layer above the background. And now we can create animation. So window animation. We just drag those here. Select the correct folder animation. Let's see how that looks here. A bit too fast. Like 20. That was pretty good. Now I have to resize it and position it on the prefab. So the first thing we want to do is save this as a prefab. Or actually, yes, let's save it as a prefab first. So let's make a folder actually here. Call it enemy effects. Save that exhaust here. Can remove it now from the scene. Go to our enemy prefab and add that here as a child. Like that. Let's see where that is here. Reposition it. But for some reason I do not see the sprite. I'm not sure why, because it is above the ships. I'm not sure. But oh, that's interesting. It has a weird pivot first. Let's set this transform here. Okay. The issue was the ship did not have 000 on the position. Let's try. Yeah, it still doesn't work. Still doesn't work. Just have to put it there manually. And now we have to flip it 180 degrees and resize it a bit. And we only do this for X and Y. The Z doesn't matter in 2D. Place it there. Like that. Now let's remove the enemies that are not prefabs and add some that are prefab. Or we could just duplicate this a couple of times, move it a bit. Let's test and see if now those have exhaust. And after that, we'll create a very simple AI for this. This will just move and shoot. It is not correct. Yeah, it's not correct. Couple of things are wrong there. One is the size and one is the rotation. So it seems that we do not have to rotate. Yep, now it works correctly. We want those to move around and maybe now we have an issue here, which is, oh, never mind, there's no issue. Yeah, we have this projectile around. Yeah, let's try to make the behavior for the enemy ship. We have a script for that. Yes, we do. Open that script. This will be very simple. It moves randomly, either to the left or the right. When it collides with the edge collider, it will change the direction. Also, the duration of this movement will be random between two values in both directions. So, question is, do we want to do it with a rigid body, or do we do it with transform translate? So that means teleporting it. We do have a rigid body on this. It is kinematic. Okay, let's try to do it with the rigid body. So we need a rigid body here. So we'll say private rigid body to be. We get it in the start function from the object. So equal get component rigid body to be. But now I want this to have a movement speed. So let's say here public float move speed. Now we want on collision with this to change the move direction. So let's look at 1 second at the projectile. We need this logic here. I'll just copy this. We can delete the enemy part. And in here, we just want to change direction. So here, let's say private float direction, or let's say move counter, and then a public float. Or actually, this does not need to be public. Move counter limit. So that way, every couple of seconds, we change the direction, but the duration of the movement will be random between two values. So here in the beginning, we'll say that move counter, and here we can say public float minimum duration, then max duration. Now we can set those in the inspector. And at the beginning, we make this a random value between those, so random range, min, duration, max duration. And then we move in the random direction. So for that, we need to create a random direction first. We'll say integer random direction equal random range. Or actually, we don't even need to do this. We can just say if random range 0. Let's see. So maximum exclusive, meaning If I put two there, then it's from 0 to 1. So let's do that. If that is bigger than 0, then rigid body linear velocity x equal to move speed times, actually to move speed. So else, in other words, here we have a 50-50 chance to go to the, we have 50% chance to go to the right and 50% chance to go to the left. And now in an update we count here in that counter. But wait, the limit, I meant limit here, not. So here we say if the counter is smaller than the limit, then we have to add the time difference between frames to that, to the counter. So move counter is equal to time delta time. And else, so if we reach that limit, we reset the counter so it becomes 0 again. We change the move speed, I mean the direction, the move direction. And let's do it in the opposite direction. So I'll take that yes, first we also have to reset the limit. So the limit becomes a random number between the minimum and the maximum. Now we change the direction. So rigid body linear velocity x, and we multiply it by -1, so that will change the direction. Or you could say that the velocity x is equal to minus the velocity x. So like that, both are, I think, work the same. But let's just say that it's equal minus, because that makes more sense. And on collision, we also want to change the direction to the opposite one. So we'll just do this line here on collision with the edge collider. Let's see if that edge collider is exactly at the edge of the view. Yes, it seems to be correct. Okay, now let's go to our enemy ship here and change some stuff. For the moves, we have to experiment with that. Let's say 5 for now. And now, how long should this last, this movement? Let's say between 3 and 7, let's say. And because this is in the scenario prefab, they get updated when you change the prefab, the assets. Okay, so it seems to work pretty good, but there is an issue with the speed. So let's go back to that, change the speed. It's like true. Also, there's another issue now. We shoot a very small projectile from the player. Very hard to hit those who are moving. That is very difficult. So we have to do two things. We want to spawn those projectiles faster and move them at a higher speed. So let's do those two things. Let's go to our ship here, which is not saved. We have to save it. I forgot to save it. So let's save it here. Okay. Let's go to the specific behavior. Yes, I made this private, I think. Or no, this is in the player script. So we do have a speed in the player script. So let's do double that. 2 times faster shoot speed. and on the projectile, increase that speed. Let's double that speed because it's hard to hit those. Also, at the beginning you don't have much effects. That thing that circles around is kind of useful in the useless in the beginning. That's much better. Yep. Now we need to do two things to those enemies. One is when they spawn, we want to spawn effects, so we see that they get spawned. So first thing we do is find one effect for that. Okay. Magic poof, yes, this one. Yes, this one. But let's first of all, first thing first, let's unpack it. Now change that to enemy spawn effect. The issue now is we want this is below the enemy ship. And why did I lost the panel here. Okay. Why can I lost that panel where you can yes, this. Let's make sure that this is on top of everything. So let's go. First of all, let's make sure that these are on the same layer. First of all, so this is on 0, 0, 0. That's good. We can change all of them at the same time. Then let's try like 15. So that's above everything. Resize it. Play that one more time. Okay, let's try half of that. Yeah, that works. Now let's save it as an effect in our enemy effects here. But that's one thing. Now we need an effect for when the ship gets destroyed. I have some here. It's white on white, unfortunately. How do you change this? Is there a way to change this? Not wait, file. It would be nice to have a black background here because I cannot see. Okay, we have a ton of options. First one here looks nice. Let's take this one. So first thing, let's change the filter mode to point because it's pixel art. Then split it by the cell size. 60 seems to be 64. Yes. Now let's create an object one. And also, that's not the only thing we need to do. We also need to go back to the spawn effect. Because I don't think this gets destroyed. Oh, it gets destroyed. Okay, let's try it actually. Let's try it. Let's start first. So we're sure that it works. So now we should see this get deleted from the hierarchy. Seems to work. Yes, that works. Okay, that works. Then let's do the destroy effect. But for this one, we need a script that will destroy it. So let's create that script first. Same model behavior, destroy after time. Also, when we create this animation, we have to make sure that it does not loop. But wait, I made a mistake. We don't need to do this because we can place an event on that. So let's create that first. A sprite, let's get sprite. Make a sprite for that. Enemy destroy effect. Let's add the first sprite of the animation to the sprite renderer. This one seems to be the correct size. Now we need animator component. Make an animator controller now. Call this enemy destroy effect. Add that to our animator component. We can go to window, animation, add all those, create the animation first. So destroy effect. And because we want to place to destroy it at the end of the animation, want to destroy this object, we need a script, the destroy script. So let's add that to our object, destroy object. Now we'll drag all of these sprites. Let's see how that looks first. That's a bit fast. Let's type 3 times slow. Yeah, that looks much better. And at the end here, at the last frame, we'll just click this, add an event, and select the function to destroy it. So this is just a destroy this game object function. Now we save that. We'll have to save this in the enemy effects. And I think because all of these enemies will have this, we can put it in the enemy script, not the specific behavior. Let's go to the enemy script here and say below, let's say effects. So public, first one is spawn effect prefab, and then destroy effect prefab. At the start, we want to spawn this spawn effect prefab, but because the ship is moving, we also want to make this effect a child of this object of the ship. So we'll say here spawn instantiate spawn effect at this position, so transform position, and then quaternion identity. I don't know, is it wait, maybe it's not quaternion identity, wait, because these effects sometimes have a rotation. Yes, you see this one has 90 degrees rotation on the X. So that means we cannot say quaternion identity because that means 0, 0, 0. So instead we take the rotation from the prefab. So we say prefab transform rotation. We maintain the rotation of the prefab. Now let's make this a child of the ship. So again we say transform parent equal transform this object. Okay, that's for the spawn. Now for the death is effect, destroy effect. Actually, I should call this death here. So before we destroy the object, we want to spawn this net. Because we destroy it immediately after we spawn this, we don't need to make this child of the ship. So let's just copy the instantiate function. Okay, so that so we spawn the dead prefab and maintain the rotation, and that's it. And we'll add some audio effects when I'll download some, because I don't have any sound effects prepared. Let's test it now. Yeah, first we need to add these two game objects to our enemy script. So we have to go in assets to the prefab. Okay, so let's go to enemy ships. Add those here. Go to assets, spawn. Enemy spawn effect, and then that effect. Yeah, I called it destroy. We have to rename that. Or let's just keep it destroy. Let's just change it to destroy. So now it's very clear when we spawn a new wave. Let's test it. See it in action. And we have another problem now, and that problem is these enemy ships spawn before we select a skill. Before we select a skill. Oh, at least we have that effect that works pretty well. That works pretty well. But let's fix that, the enemy spawn. I think that's in Game Manager somewhere. That's for the effect. Where do we spawn it? The waves? That's the question. Where's the spawn? So we have the on end coroutine, the on start coroutine. We spawn the effects. Oh, here it is. Yes. Let's delete this stuff because this was just for testing purposes. But let's not delete it. Just comment this. So if you type this, you can comment code. This is good, but we want to do this only if only after we selected an effect. So in that case, let's make the level finished false. It is false actually. It is false by default. Let's make it I don't know. We have to look a bit in the code so we don't mess something here. Let's see where else is this in here. Because I don't see. Okay, let's use the Control F and search for this. Okay, so this is good. We can make it true at the beginning. So that way, okay, make it true at the beginning. Here, we only want to do this to spawn the waves. If the level is not finished, it is not finished. Okay, so that means not level finished here. Okay, and this being true, it will not enter this if statement at the beginning. But now we have to enable this if statement. We have to change that pool after we select an effect. Yes, in here, select new effect. But wait, not here actually. Actually, in the effect UI, I think. Yes. So spawn or upgrade effect. At the end here, we want to enable to change that pool. So finished or false. So game manager level finished, but we cannot access it because I think it is private. Yes, it is private. So let's make it public now. So here we just say level finished equal false, and that will enable the spawn. Time to test it. And I think after this will stop for today. I'll have to think of what else to add, because I don't have anything prepared. I'm kind of freestyling. Nope, it is still not working. It is still not working. Let's see first of all, let's see that bool, what value it has. It is true, which is good. That's interesting. I think the issue is we do this, I think, in the start function. Yes, we do it in the start function. So okay, this stuff here, let's do it instead in let's do it in after when we select the effect. Okay, I'll just delete this. So these lines, instead of doing it here, let's comment this just in case. Let's do this when we select the effect, because those lines spawn the first wave. So let's say here spawn first wave, but we have errors everywhere because these are from the game manager script. Yes, I see. Okay, those need also to be public now. That's one way, but we can do it another way. Let's go in the game manager and make a function for that. Just say public void on first wave. Add that here. And instead of using the variables from the other script, we'll just call this function. So game manager spawn first wave, and now it will only spawn after we select that effect. And Wim, if you have questions or suggestions or anything, please tell me. If this works, we'll stop for today. I'm sorry. I kind of. Okay, it still does not work. You see. I don't know what the issue. Oh, I see. Okay, that's the issue. It was enabled. That. It was. Try one more time. Yep, works. Okay. Okay, well, I'm sorry, but I think we're done for today. I will think of what to do next time. I will be more prepared. Thank you very much for helping me record this, and I'll see you tomorrow possibly if you're free.